There she is, she's a blondie. That is rubbers right there. Look at that. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's Saturday, October 12th, 2024. It's a beautiful morning out. It was about 68 early on this morning. It's about 10 a.m. and it's 77 degrees already, so it's heating up fast. Yesterday, I think we tied a record high of 92 here in central Oklahoma, but it's been unseasonably hot and dry. We had a good 6.5 inch rain 3 weeks ago, but nothing since. And that was a fast, hard rain, so most of it washed off. My little pond did fill up, and it's about half empty now, and my creek's flowing, so I'm still able to pull water off the creek for watering what's left of the garden. It's pretty much done for. So the bees are very temperamental right now. When you do an inspection, as soon as you open the hive and you set your one frame out, they are on that fast. So need to take measures to keep that frame where they can't get to it, and just try and minimize the robbing. So I've been feeding my weak hives, and when you're out there feeding, it attracts the robber bees, and you just got to get in and out fast. So hive 12, I actually had to put the beast blocker robbing screen on it from Ceracell. And it's got the little flaps that fold down on the top, so I had them both shut. I locked it down one day after I fed. Next morning I opened it up, and I let it go for a day, and then they were on it again, so I locked it down again. And then the next day I opened it up. So it looks to be okay now, but I want to get in there, show you that beast blocker, how it works. They work pretty good, and I like how they just have the little doors that open and shut. So I'll show you that. I want to get in there and check that hive, make sure it's okay, see what the feed looks like. I put quite a bit on there, so it may be full of ants and bad now, and I have to dump that out. Also, on the right side of that stand there, you see a hive gone. Hive 15, I was doing my queen right checks, and hive 15 didn't have a queen in there. There was no cat brood, larva, eggs, nothing, and there hadn't been a queen in there in some time. So I just pulled that off and moved it on top of hive 10. Hive 10 was our small hive I've been trying to build up with that Wildflower Meadows queen in there, and that's a good opportunity. So I just moved the 15, newspaper, combined it on top of 10. And in 15 there was quite a bit of honey stores, and there was a decent amount of bees in there, so it's going to be a nice boost and get that hive 10 through the winter. But I do want to check in there, and I did look for a queen in 15 pretty good, but you know, you never know. But with no eggs, larva, brood, nothing, I'm pretty sure it was queenless for whatever reason. And there was no supersedure cells I found in there either, so that's kind of odd. But anyway, I'm going to check that combine. And one last thing I want to do is, let's see, hive 24 over here. It is so light I can lift it with one finger. It's terribly light on stores, and I've got some special feed I'm going to give them to get them storing some stuff up for winter, and see if we can get that through. So I'm not sure the story on that hive. I'm going to look at my notes before I get into it, and I'll fill you in on that once I get over there. So let's get started. Okay, first off, here's hive 12, and there's the Ceracell beast blocker, and that beast blocker mates up perfectly with that bottom that's from Ceracell, and that's called the Hive Defender bottom. And that bottom has a wasp or yellow jacket trap in the back, and in the front it has a vent that, with that little red tab there, you can move it left and right and open the bottom vent, so it's like a screen bottom board. So I'm feeding this. I also have a Ceracell top feeder on here, and I put quite a bit in it. So this hive was had some robbing going on. And you can see how these work. I have this just opened up just a little bit, but this is the beast blocker, entrance blocker. So if you're going to move your hive, you can lock them down in the evening, and the next day they'll be all locked in there and they can't get out. So you could move your hive without losing any of your bees, or your bees wouldn't be out flying in the morning because they can't get out. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that back. There went some yellow pollen. Just going to put that back. I'm going to check this feeder. This looks good. Got pollen coming in, lots of pollen coming in there. And I just want to check on it. And I did see some little ants, the little bitty ants on this feeder when there was that robbing going on. Oh, this isn't a Ceracell. This is a Man Lake hive top feeder, and it's empty. So the question is, how much of it went to the bees in here? So let's see how much this weighs now. And the weight feels pretty good compared to what it was. It was pretty lightweight. Do a quick little inspection here. So I've got like 6 of these Man Lake feeders. Good thing about these, you can get a lot of feed on a hive. Each side probably holds 1.5 gallons. But you gotta have a strong hive if you're gonna put that much feed on it for them to take that down in there. Yeah, that looks nice and strong and healthy. I'm gonna go into a couple of these outside frames and see how much they've stored. So all those bees I shook off, they flew around there to the front, you can see. So that's not robbers, at least not yet. This frame here still feels pretty light. A little bit they've stored in there, and a little bit here. See, I got to move fast because that frame I set right there. Once a robber bee finds that and gets the signal out, they'll be all over this hive here again. So this was kind of a new frame. They're not putting anything in that. Looks like I need to feed them again because I want these outside frames to have some stores. So there you can see where the bees are on that. They've stored some of that in there. I'm talking about the sugar water. So I'm mixing 1-to-1 now. I'm back to my 50-50 1-to-1 going into the fall. Man, there's a little bit there, but I want these full. This is not, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Maybe there's more on the other side. A little bit in there. See a couple of hive beetles walking around. It's getting better. Yeah, that's about 2/3 full. Same on this side. I'm gonna go till I see some brood just to do a quick queen rot check in addition to this. There's our brood and larva. So that's all I need to see. Here's larva and eggs. Don't see my queen, that's okay. I know she's there. So yeah, need to continue feeding. Their weight's better than it was, but it's not where it needs to be. So I'll come back this evening and fill this one up again. Or not fill it up, but I'll put some liquid feed in there, some more 1-to-1. And when you use this type of feeder, you want to make sure your bottom or your lid is as flush as possible so it makes a seal over this. Otherwise you get ants in there. Okay, let's get over to hive 10. I'm going to set this on here to remind me to come back and feed that. So the gray is hive 15. Got our newspaper, and hive 10 is below with the Wildflower Meadows queen. Now I choked that entrance down to like 2 bee widths. It has the entrance reducer on it. And with all that robbing going on, I didn't want to risk anything getting caught up in a robbing situation here. This is weird. Oh, that's a newspaper. I was like, what is that? So yeah, they've combined, they've chewed newspaper up. It's kind of a green color. I was afraid that was wax moth. It's not. Okay, I'm gonna leave that open like this now. We'll go in, get in here in the top and probably check a few frames and see if that queen's moved up. And then I'm gonna set that top right down here on this, what's left of the wax moth disaster hive 9. I just left the telescoping lid and the bottom board down there and the inner covers. And that lid there's from extra from when I moved hive 15 over, so I need to go put that on top of hive 15. And that's our feeder shim there from Ceracell. So this is the hive I put the Ceracell bags on, and they slurped them up fast. In fact, they're right here, and I need to get these to the trash can. So it looks good so far. I'm seeing good population of bees right there. So this hive was not weak. It just didn't have a queen. The one on top, hive 15. Let's check the weight. Yeah, so this hive now is heavy because hive 15 had a lot of honey in it. And the brood was towards the middle where the brood had been. And it was all completely empty. Yeah, see, they've got quite a bit of capped honey. So it's not completely capped, but then there's a lot of liquid in the ones that aren't. So I'm going to set this frame kind of against this other hive, and I'm going to put this inner cover over it, kind of keep bees away from it. Let's go through this real quick. This is heavy food. I can see where they've chewed up most of the newspaper out down there. Nice honey slab there. Same thing. So for food stores, this hive's set. Don't got to worry about it anymore. Same thing. Lots of liquid. We'll get up here and see if maybe that queen came up and started laying in the void where the old brood was. That's still all food. Yeah, I am surprised this hive 15 hadn't gone laying worker. There was no brood whatsoever, not one capped cell. Not seeing any pollen either. So what I saw before was like empty and then food around it, and then there was no brood. Looks like it's all liquid now, just about everywhere, and honey capped. This one's a little bit lighter. Yeah, so there's some pollen right there. Get that in the sun. So the brood was on this side probably. It was probably right there on that frame next to the pollen. And there's a little bit of pollen here, quite a bit actually, in that yellow pollen that was coming in last couple of weeks. But yeah, no signs of a queen upstairs. So let's get this off. You can see what the newspaper looks like. So instead of a hive stand, I want to use telescoping cover turned upside down, so there's fewer points touching where the bees are going to get smashed, kind of like just putting on a hive stand. I want a different hive tool than this. Got my Hive Alive hive tool here with the J-hook. These are awesome. You get these on Hive Alive. You can use my link and my promo code, get 10% off if you want to check them out. Thing I like about them the best is they're bright colored, they're easy to spot, and they're really solid too. They don't flex a lot, and the sharp edge is just the right sharpness. It's not too sharp where you're cutting in your wood, and it's kind of a chisel tip where you can get it in there and pry up. They work good. Whoa, that's heavy. Yeah, so that's what a hi beetle. That's what a good newspaper combine looks like. So I cut one little slit right in the middle when I put this on there to help them get started. That's why that was green, because it was the funny pages, and it's full of green ink. That's funny. Haha. No pun intended. Okay. But they'll clean this up the rest of the way. Let's see if I can spot my queen. Make sure there was no supersedure attempts on our queen from the combine, which that's why you use the newspaper, so they go slowly. But that top hive being queenless should not have been a problem. See, this is very light, not much in that. So that's what I was dealing with before, this hive here by itself. I'd say it's up to medium heavy now, because I had been feeding it pretty good and getting that queen up to speed. So I started all that like July. It just takes a long time. You don't want to start a new colony in July from a fresh queen and not much to start with, just like a basic nuke. You want a good population, queen laying good. You need at least a couple frames of brood. I had none of that. This was basically a banked queen that's turned into a hive from a weak situation to get it built up from scratch starting in July. So here we've got cat brood. I don't see larvae. Yeah, there's larvae in here. So our queen is in here laying. And there she is. And this frame here is all laid up in the center. She's backfilled it. There she is. She's a blondie. So that's a VSH Italian queen from Wildflower Meadows. Go check them out. If you need a queen, they may still have a few left, but I doubt it. So if you want some in spring, usually in the winter time, I will set my orders for late May, and I'll pull a couple of extra splits to keep this VSH Italian genetics in my apiary. I've always had good luck with their queens, and the bees that they produce are calm, gentle. They do good with producing honey, and they don't attack you. Unlike the Western Oklahoma bees that I got from my father-in-law. Those were vicious. Okay, let's get this put back together, and we'll get around the corner and you'll see what I'm talking about with my special feed I'm going to do on hive 24. Yeah, that is heavy. So this hive is set for success all the way into spring of next year, and probably going to have at least 2 supers on here to produce honey, because we got us a hive moth, or wax moth. A hive moth. What am I talking about? Okay. All right. See you girls in the funny pages. Ha. That is robbers right there. Look at that. I may go ahead and close this down again just for the day, and keep any robbing situation from starting. I'll leave it a little more open than it was. It's about 2 inches now. It was 2 bees width. There's a little bit of grumpiness going on there. And over here you can see it's kind of kicking up a little bit. I'm going to lower that door down a little bit. All right, let's get around the corner. Okay, Here's 24 with the dummy brick. Come back, dummy. So there's, looks like a little bit of robbing activity around that. You see those bees flying around that entrance? They're flying kind of sideways a lot. They don't act like they've really got a purpose other than they're searching. So we may need to put a blocker on that. So this does have a feeder on it as well. I think it does, yeah. Let's get in there and see what I've got. So I set this inner cover here next to it. It's got this hole. So I have plans to use this here. Yeah, 2 fingers I can lift it easy. That's too light. So I have the Apame feeder on here, and it's empty on both sides. I had a little bit of pollen patty in there. It appears to be gone. Here's a wax moth. Bad moth. So most of the bees are concentrated right in here. It's not a strong hive by any means. So I said I was going to look up the history on this. So what I found is this hive, I think it was May or June, this hive here next to it was about to swarm, and it had swarm cells that were sealed, but none of them had emerged yet. So I found the original queen, and when I found her, I pulled the frame that she was on out with her, put her in here, and made a little split. So this was a 5-frame nuke. So that's called a artificial swarm when you take the queen out of a hive that's going to swarm. So that saves your hive from swarming and losing all your bees. So I was able to save that queen, and I probably made some other splits with swarm cells to other hives to build my population back up. But this is a 2023 queen, at least. She wasn't marked, but I marked her red later for 2023. I think red is 23. All these are empty. And with hopes she would build up, superseed naturally, and this hive would build up. But you can see the parent hive made a new queen, and it's doing well. It's far surpassed the mother queen here. A little bit of nectar there, same. So I need to see some brood. There we go. Lots of food there. There's our queen. Yeah, she's marked extra red. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. The pen, it's the pen's fault, not mine, right? So it had a little too much ink on it, and it got a little out of control and got on her wings a little bit. But she seems to be doing okay. Other than she's just not setting any records for laying. And there was a little bit of cap brood right there. So going into winter, you're not going to have a bunch, but you want enough to have enough bees to survive. Here's some more brood right here. And that's it. So there's probably a half a frame worth of brood between those two. And that's probably just not enough, you know. So with the bees they got, they may have enough food. There's a pollen store right there. Nice yeller pollen. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. My secret weapon plan. When I was, after I'd harvested all my honey and my cappings tank had sat for a while and I'd cleaned it out, there was a little bit of residual honey left in there. And I put it into, I got 2 quarts of it. So I've got those quart jar feeders, or jar feeders, entrance feeders. So that's what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use this, and because this came from Hive 15, the one that failed over there that was queenless. So now I can use this, and I'm gonna feed them a quart of honey. out of that jar. Let's see, I'm gonna flip this over so that little notch is on the top, and I'm gonna block it off with the lid so no bees can get in here. You don't want to do this in the spring like this with that big void, because they'll build comb up in here. They're not gonna build any comb right now. All right, let me get my jar feeder and get this set up. Also, something I just noticed, this type of inner cover has a hole right here, and I have the cap for it. I set it in there and let the bees propolize it, so it's always there, so the bees store it for me. So I'm going to push this in here from the inside and block that hole off. I did it from the inside because if I do it from the outside, when I put my inner cover over, it's going to touch that cap and it's going to leave a little gap here where bees can get in, and I don't want that. I don't want these robber bees to be getting any of this honey. Okay, so there's two ways I could do this. I've got the entrance feeder that I could set right here and just put this on here like that. And these bees will come up in here, go in this feeder, and take the honey like that. Or I can put it right here. This is all going to be covered up, by the way. This won't be open to where bees and the sun's hitting this and bees can get in here and all that. So I could do it like that. In fact, I could do it like that and not put a box over this, but the sun will make this hot and it'll push that honey out and it'll all drip down in here and it'll be a mess. Other bees will smell it and it'll be a robbing nightmare frenzy. So we don't want that. So I think what I'm going to do to start, I was thinking I was just going to put it here and put the cover over it and let the bees take it from right there. But I'm afraid, since this is so weak, that a little bit of honey is going to drip out of this. So I'll be using this little feeder here, this little cap, this lid that's got the holes in it. It's probably got 30 or so little holes for the bees to get the honey out, or sugar water, whatever. So that's normally how this works. You put this on the entrance. These are bad about robbing. Don't do this on your entrance ever in the fall. You will cause robbing. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do it like this. So any honey that drips out, in fact, I'm going to do it, so this is leaning forward. I'm going to actually put it right here and aim it my direction. So any honey that drips out is going to flow towards the front, back, or the back side of this, and it's not going to come out. It's not going to go into the hive and spread around and cause a mess. I'll just go ahead and put that there for now and put my lid on, my feeder lid. You can buy these lids by themselves. You can make your own with a little bitty drill bit. I buy these at my local place. Beekeeping, etc. Oklahoma City sells these. Not a bad price. Saves me the time of putting them together and building them myself. Plus, it gives them a little bit of business here locally. I try to use them occasionally. And look, they're already on that. Get that away from here. So this is some pretty thick honey. You can see it starting to come out there. And once that pressure neutralizes, it'll stop coming out in there. So we're going to put this other box on top of there just to protect it from robbers. This is my new designer box that the wax moths larva designed for me. They put nice decorative patterns in there all around. You too can have one of these if you don't inspect your hives often enough in the late summer and let wax moths do this for you. It's pretty neat. That was real bad sarcasm, by the way. Don't ever do that. I hate them things. All right. And we're going to put the telescoping cover over with no inner cover because we want this sealed. No bees can come in or out of this spot. And put our dummy brick back. And I can take this Apame feeder and I can put it on another hive somewhere else. So one more thing I may consider doing, and that's to protect this hive from robbers. So it has the Hive Defender bottom board on it, so I can put a beast blocker on this as well. I've got quite a few that Ceracell has sent me. Thomas Clow in New Zealand, super guy. He sends me all their cool things to try out and show you all how they work. So it'll fit right here, just like that other one you saw. So I may do that if they get to smelling that honey. Oh, let's see. This isn't blocked off, so I need to block that. That's not going to work. Okay. I was thinking the inner cover was going to be over this, but it's not. There we go. So they can chew through that over time, but I think it'll be all right. That's not a long-term solution. And I would pick a box that's not quite level. There's a gap right there. Yeah. I'm gonna go get a different box than this one because I want this sealed up good. Okay. Got me another designer wax moth box. And I thought of something to do besides that paper towel thing. I'm going to slide this feeder up against that notch, and that's going to block that off. And I can keep my paper towel in my pocket. All right, get this shut up. And there's no notch here to worry about. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you would, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Approaching 13,000, I sure do appreciate that. I'm going to take this Apame feeder and move it to another hive somewhere else down the line that I need to feed a little bit. I really like these. They keep out the big ants, but the small ants they don't. But it has this pollen patty feeder right in here. It's propped shut, so I can't get it open to show you, but that's where you put your pollen patties. Gives them a little extra protection. But yeah, I'm an Apame affiliate too. If you want to check that out, there's an Apame link down below, and I get a little commission off of that. And it doesn't cost you anything extra to purchase Apame products with my affiliate link. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.